This was the most intense exchange between Dave Smith and Douglas Murray during their debate on the Joe Rogan Experience.
I'm still slightly bemused about this move from I'm an expert on this and I have views to I'm a comedian.
I've never claimed to be an expert on anything.
This is the problem, Joe. If somebody
Wait a minute,
says...
you have to claim to be an expert on something to have an opinion on something?
No, you don't have to be. I'm not a historian, but I'm pumping out history.
But wait a minute,
I'm
what
not
about
an expert, but I'm talking all the time about this
But you're not
thing.
even talking about specifically on what he just said. What's the solution? To not talk about it?
No, it's to have more experts around.
The expert class hasn't done a great job.
I know.
Man. This is follow the science.
Yeah,
but you know what?
I
okay,
agree
so fine.
with
So
that.
during,
I just said to you, I agree with that.
Right, I know.
But
so
one
Douglas,
of the problems
during all of COVID, I will put my track record against any of the expert class on COVID. So should I have just shut up? Should I have shut up by opposing lockdowns and opposing vaccine mandates and talking
that
about
was
the lab
argument
theory?
at the time. You realize
that's the
right?
entire argument that you're making. Let the experts handle this.
No.
You're not an expert. You're right. I was just a comedian.
You're wildly not listening to what I'm saying.
You're saying I claim to be an expert, but then I have like a parachute to get out of it by being like, hey, I'm just a comedian. But I don't think I've ever like really claimed to be an expert. I have opinions on things.
I know, but isn't it weird to be simultaneously saying I'm not an expert on a conflict and talking about it everywhere?
I don't see how you
Do
can't
you
have an
talk
opinion
about
on
these things?
Some of them, yeah.
Are you an expert?
I am on some, yes.
On some,
But
but
you talk
not.
about some that
But
you're not
some
an
are
expert
not.
on.
You'll
What
know-
should you do if those subjects get breached?
Well, I think that you educate yourself as much as you
Shouldn't
can.
you say I'm not an expert and then give your opinion if you're in the middle of a conversation?
I think it's a weird move to say I'm not an expert on this, but I'm going to talk about it nonstop. I think that is strange.
Listen, I will certainly concede that I am weird, but I just fundamentally disagree with this idea that there's an expert class. They can have opinions on all of these things. It's weird for any regular person who's just read about it.
Not my view.
This was the most intense exchange.
Good morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. So it was kind of a slow news weekend over the weekend. So the most entertaining thing that happened last week for me and Chad was this little debate that happened between Douglas Murray and Dave Smith on Joe Rogan. And the problem with Douglas Murray is, I think me and Chad agree with Douglas Murray quite a bit, but at the same time, he was doing the whole appealing to authority fallacy, the whole credentialing fallacy, where again, what you saw in that little opening clip there, they were like going, why can't I talk about this? Well, you need to surround yourself with experts. It's like, well, the experts haven't done a great job over the last couple of years. So, Chad, you were talking about this, saying, it's a kind of a British thing where it's like, the British have an aristocratic class, and that's kind of who they appeal to.
Yeah, like the British do have like a class system. I mean, that's how they are. It's like you have your royalties and your nobles and all that, and they are the aristocrat class. And you're not allowed to do certain things if you're part of the working or peasant class. So there is a hierarchy in the British system still.
Well, yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we don't have that here. It's like every Joe Schmo in America can have an opinion on whatever they want because, this is America. Because those pesky, rednecks, how come they get to have opinions?
Yeah, and the dumbest people in the world can become millionaires. I mean, look at the Paul brothers.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to discuss today is the fact that, how did I make the conclusion about it? I said Douglas Murray is wrong for the right reasons, and Dave Smith is right for the wrong reasons. That's kind of how I would sum up this debate, because I like both of these guys quite a bit. I really like. I've been following Douglas Murray for years, and I'm a huge fan. But I also do like Dave Smith. He's funny. He's very well spoken. I mean, we've ended our show with Dave Smith summing up our opinions better than we could ever sum up our opinions on some of this stuff.
Yeah, like his take on the Obamas, like he's the one that has the take on the Obamas. Like everybody who disagrees with Barack Obama is now labeled a racist.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we've ended with Dave Smith's talking points before. And if we haven't showed Douglas Murray on this show before, I mean, we've definitely quoted Douglas Murray quite a bit on the show. So it's a shame that it had to come to this, but I understand where they're coming from. Like to give Douglas Murray the most charitable take I can give him. Joe Rogan is the zeitgeist and the pulse of America. He's the what? He's the modern day what we said, Will Rogers, right, Chad?
Yeah, modern day Will Rogers.
So
is what he is.
Anybody that Joe Rogan brings on his podcast, they're going to get a lot of clout. It's like the whole Wes Huff versus that Billy Carson thing. Like Billy Carson is this guy that was talking about he's a black intellectual or pseudo intellectual that was talking about the Gnostic Bibles or something like this, and he was talking about how there's Bibles out there. The real Bibles basically don't say that Jesus came back from the dead and all this stuff, and a bunch of people changed it to. And then Wes Huff came in, who is a religious scholar, who's an expert. I mean, that's what he does. Like, I mean, he's gone to Egypt and he's, done archaeological digs and stuff in Egypt to find biblical areas and biblical sites. And then he basically destroyed. Like, he brought this guy again. Wes Huff destroyed this guy named Billy Carson's career on a debate, and then Joe Rogan had him on after he'd had Billy Carson on multiple times, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Billy Carson didn't know what he was talking about." So so Joe Rogan will platform people, and then, like I said, all of a sudden people will come in and knock those guys off their throne, and then he'll bring the other people who knocked him down back on, and that's what Douglas Murray's not seeing. Like, if Billy Carson hadn't come on and said all the nonsense he said, Wes Huff would have never come on his show, and Wes Huff would not have come on and had the debate with Billy Carson that destroyed him. So, again, I understand where Douglas is coming from. It's like, you need to be more cautious who you allow on your show, because there's a lot of bad faith actors out there who will put out misinformation. And remember, a lie travels halfway around the world before the truth has time to tie its shoes. Mm-hmm. So that's where Douglas is coming from. However, the way to get to the truth is to have more speech, not less. And that's where Dave Smith is coming from. Like, again, his slapping down of Douglas Murray going, should we have just trusted the experts during COVID? Or not COVID, the coof, whatever. I don't know how YouTube feels about that word anymore. But, yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, trust the experts. It's like, I mean, the expert class has done a terrible job of allowing us to give them trust. I mean, I wouldn't trust anybody that came in and told me, like, "Oh, I'm an expert." It's like, I don't believe you. Mm-hmm. It's like, what? And again, what makes you an expert? Is Douglas Murray an Israel expert because he's been to the country a handful of times? I mean, isn't it possible to be an expert in something and never have gone there? Mm-hmm. Again, so there was a lot in this debate that was just. It was sad to see. It was sad to see Douglas Murray making these silly appeal to authority fallacies over and over again, instead of, again, dealing with Dave Smith and his points that he was making. Yeah. But again, Dave Smith coming at it from the, and again, Dave Smith is Jewish too, but coming at it from the anti-Israel standpoint. Look, and Israel's no angel. Israel is not this perfect little baby angel country that does nothing wrong. Like, some of the tactics they use and some of the things they've done in the past, like, I'm sure if the history was revealed, it would shock a lot of people, the things that Israel is responsible for. I mean, again, I think Israel is responsible for a lot of, we don't have to go that far into it, but I mean, I think Israel is probably was a big funder of the old Epstein stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that again, how do you guarantee your survival in a climate where the entire world hates you? Simple. Have dirt on the most powerful people in a country. It's like, we don't want to make friends with the U.S. We want to have dirt on them so we can leverage and have them do whatever we want against them. So that's where I'm at with that. That's why I'm nervous about this kind of stuff. So you got a bunch of videos ready to roll, Chad. What did you want to start with, man?
Well, I guess we'll start with some of most of these are like the people posting Dave Smith kind of wrecking Douglas Murray. Yeah. Which, again, I don't really think he did. Dave Smith is a comedian, and he is a member of the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party will never win. The Libertarian Party will never win because they can't get anybody to agree on anything, because the Libertarian Party is a group of people that usually have like one law that they want to have repealed and moved back, and like it's really bad. It's like sometimes it's drugs, sometimes it's
the only thing
whatever.
That the Libertarians care about is free markets and no laws on drugs. Mm-hmm. And again, we all know that that's not going to work out. Like, I mean, you don't put a damper on things like drugs, and people just people will go wild.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, I can handle cocaine. I can handle this. It's like, and then you see a bunch of people dying on the streets, and you're like, well, that was their choice. It's their freedom to do that. It's like, well, we could make laws to disincentivize that kind of behavior.
Yes.
That way we have a healthier society. But, c'est la vie.
Yep. We'll start with this one right here. I think this is the one that Dave Smith is absolutely wrong on.
All right, yeah. Show me what you got.
Inflicted on Gaza is orders of magnitudes greater than October 7th. Somebody broke onto your property property and killed some of your family members and you want to go kill this guy. If he goes back to his apartment building and you know that there's women and children in that apartment building, and so your move is to blow up the building, what you would be charged with is murder in the first degree. Cold-blooded, premeditated, intentional murder. And you could sit there and tell the judge, I didn't want to kill all those people. Why would I want to kill all of those people? I just had to kill that one guy. But that's bullshit. That's not what counts. You did it intentionally. You dropped a bomb knowing that there were women and children in that building. You're taking an action knowing that these innocent people are going to die. Then that is, by definition, intentional.
Hold on. You got to stop interrupting and let him finish.
The tragedy that's been inflicted on Gaza is orders of magnitudes greater than October 7th. Somebody broke onto your property and...
So, as you heard there, he's like, if he takes a horrible example, this is where Dave Smith is wrong. Not only wrong, he is dead wrong. Mm-hmm. So in this scenario, he's like, oh, so somebody came in and killed your family, and then they go run back to their apartment, and then there's like, oh, well, you got to get this guy, so now I'm going to bomb the apartment. Like, oops, that is stupid. Because here's the issue with that. One, the people in that apartment elected that guy to go kill those people. Mm-hmm. Two, those people are actively hiding this person and being in the way of this person to protect them because they like what he did. Mm-hmm. And three, that is ridiculous. Like the fact, like, you'll be charged for murder. This is a war. This is not, gang violence, kill somebody, our gang's going to come back and kill, other people in revenge. This is a war. This is not gang violence. That was the stupidest example anybody could have ever pulled in a scenario like this. This was terrorism, and people actively hiding a terrorist, not freaking, you murdered somebody, now we're going to go get this guy and we're going to kill everybody we can to kill them. That was horrible. That is why Dave Smith is not only wrong, he was dead wrong, and why I disagree with him completely. That was a horrible example.
Yeah, it's the whole proportionality argument. It's like, it's not proportional. It's like hell it's not. Did you see the videos? Did you see the images of the kids being beheaded? I saw a picture today, and it's the first time I'd ever seen it, but it was like there was a Filipino lady and there was a little old Jewish woman who was like bedridden, and a guy before he killed both the Filipino who's just there as a worker,
tourist, yeah,
not a tourist. No, she's like she's a house,
okay,
what do you call hospice person?
Yeah,
she in home healthcare person, and so she's kneeling at the side of the bed, and there's a guy with a AK-47, Palestinian Hamas supporter, taking a selfie before he kills both of them. I mean, this is what we're talking about. I mean, like, to proportionality. This is nuts. And this is the problem that, like, people like Dave Smith and a lot of people on the left don't talk about. These are generations of people who have been brainwashed and indoctrinated, not only into Islam, but have been brainwashed and indoctrinated to hate the Jews. Look. Is living in Palestine and Gaza rougher than probably living in other places in the world? Sure. But it's self-harm done by the people who elected the government of Hamas.
Yeah, it's like the whole... And he even used that as in there, too, is like, you can't go back to Nazi Germany. Well, the problem is the people of Germany elected the fascist Nazi government of Hitler.
Yeah.
So there is some culpability in this. Like, you can't just be like, the Nazis did nothing wrong. They allowed this to happen to their nation. Mm-hmm. They let this happen. Whether you want to admit it or not, they have some culpability in this. It's Absolutely. The same with Gaza and Hamas.
And again, it's one of the most densely populated areas in the world, too, Palestine. I mean, there's no way to conduct this war, like, civilly. This is why urban combat's some of the worst stuff you'll ever see.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know. There's no winning in this scenario. Again, what we need to do now is show the images of people being brainwashed from childhood. I mean, guys, remember Palestine. Yeah. These are the people that were celebrating when they heard the Twin Towers went down. Yeah, they were celebrating. They were clapping. So people here in America were dead, losing family members. Over 2,000 people died in the Twin Towers incidents, and they were clapping and celebrating and jumping around the street, going, la, 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 la. They were happy about it.
Yeah.
So.
I have that pulled up right here if you're ready for it.
Whenever you're ready. Man.
Here is kids putting on a play in Gaza about killing Jews. I mean, just like, this is a generation that has been brainwashed and indoctrinated. There is no Saving they've been trained to do this since they are like what 6, 7 years old.
Well, since they're old enough to comprehend.
Mm-hmm. There's no sound with this, by the way.
Yeah, not this particular video. But yeah, look at them. They got a little person in a prison cell, a little girl giving a speech. Like, they got a knife. Like, look at this. Like, guys, this is a savage, barbaric religion. I mean, in what world would you see here in America, like, a play like this happening? Like, where you give a little girl a knife to stab somebody. You know, it's like, this would be like if we told elementary school kids to put on a play of Julius Caesar. You know, like, yeah, you're all going to go stab Caesar. You know, like, what's happening here? Yeah. Like, this is nuts, man. And this is what's encouraged from that young of age. Like, yeah, no, killing's cool.
Yeah. This is something I forgot to say. It's like, this is part of the thing that Dave Smith left out. Is like, yes, these people have been brainwashed. Like I said, the generations of this. And this happens in a lot. I mean, we showed some that are, this happens in Turkey. Mm-hmm. This happens in several, like Iran and several countries where they train children to hate not only like Jews, like, but America.
Yeah.
Like,
this is how you know this is a barbaric religion. A religion that doesn't, like, the religion of peace, my ass. You know what I mean? Like, Christ told us what? To turn the other cheek and then give the other one. You know, like, to forgive and forget, to love your enemies. Like, there's no teaching of love in this. You know, like, the greatest act of love we can do is by killing you. That is how we show you love, Christians and Jews. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at this. What year was that out? One of these videos.
2013.
There you go. These kids right
this
here.
This is probably
those are
that
some
generation.
Of the grown-up kids.
Yeah, this is the generation that probably did this.
Yes, these are the adult, you know, or I mean, adolescent to adult men who went and attended these little, you know, learn how to be a terrorist camps back in the day. I mean, 10 years ago. I guess 11 technically, or actually 12. Excuse me.
Yeah, and this is the crap that Mr. Dave Smith just happens to leave out. And, like, same with Joe Rogan. They don't talk about this part.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about this part because this part is not the pretty part. Everyone wants to see the attacks. Said, God forbid that a bigger country, it's like with what we talk about with a proportionality. Like, if a bigger country punches down on a smaller country, same thing with, like, an influencer or whatever, like punching down on a lower influencer, like that's seen as them bullying them. And that's what this is. Well, I don't care if they're being seen as bully. You can't throw rocks at somebody and expect them never to do something about it.
Yeah.
But in this case, you can't expect to have rockets shot at you every day and then expect them to be like, oh, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah. Again, this is what they're dealing with over there. I mean, the brainwashing. I mean, like those kids. Like, pull up the other video. There was one more of the kids giving the speech. How many
rockets hit Israel today? So it says here, in the past week, there were 287 red alerts and a total of 2,101 in the past month. Volume off. Wow. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. In the last week, 228 red alerts. Could you imagine living in a country where you get 228 red alerts about rockets being fired at you? And you'd be like, and then imagine if Mexico was doing that to us, or Canada was just firing rocks on us every day, and you just be like, we would send the might of God to Mexico and be like, yeah, you're not doing this crap no more.
Yeah, we'd be like, you're going to be the 51st state whether you like it or not, and even if there's nuclear fallout over the entire country, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, go ahead and pull up that other video that last, and this one actually has sound. So.
Yeah. All right, I'll shoot it up. Here we go.
They call them the Pioneers of Liberation and the Sword of Jerusalem summer camps, run by Hamas and Islamic Jihad. These videos, posted by Memory, the Middle East Media Research Institute, show what the youth of Gaza are doing this summer.
We did not come here to enjoy ourselves or to play or anything like that. We came with our souls, our blood, our martyrs, and are wounded to sacrifice ourselves for Palestine and for our people.
This promotional video urges students from primary school, high school, and college to participate. In the camp, target practice involves AK-47s, anti-tank weapons, and video simulations.
So that in the next...
no, folks. You see that? That is the enemy. You know, and like I said, you wonder why Islamic men are so gung-ho about stuff. It's because they do fun stuff. And I say fun. Like, I mean, obviously this is bad, but this is what we need more of for boys young boys. Like, you want to get them weaponized and interested in things, willing to go to class, willing to learn. That's what you got to do. You have to have something like this for them to do.
Oh yeah. So
I mean, these guys are
JORTC stuff.
Yeah. Like, look at these kids. Like, these kids are motivated to be there. They're excited to be there.
Yeah.
And they're obviously they're encouraging them to do acts of evil, but
here's the part is like, I've seen JORTC programs. There is no like holy war element to it. There is no, we are here to crusade and take back the Holy Land. Like that is what this is. This is brainwashing and indoctrination. Like, I don't mind them teaching kids how to be good military members. That's okay. But you just heard that we're here with our blood, our souls. You know, we will destroy Israel. You're just like, holy Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, these people, I mean, this is what you get. I mean, this is... Like,
again, and this is the stuff that Mr. Dave Smith left out. And this is the stuff that, again, I agree with what Douglas Mayer is saying. Joe Rogan loves to delve into conspiracy theories because he's all about aliens and all that weird, like intermittent, what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Alex Jones, interdimensional demons.
Yes, yeah.
Stuff. And he doesn't go on like the real life on the ground stuff. Like, if he would bring somebody on here to talk about this stuff, look at that. I mean, just look at that. These kids.
Highly motivated. Now, obviously, this is a propaganda piece. There could be kids who are like, I want to play video games and jerk off in my room all day, too, It's like, there's some of that as well, Like, there's some bum kids out there. But again, like, it's either this or sitting in a classroom with the girls all day, and it's like, what would you rather do? It's like, I can tell you, if I was living over there, I'll tell you what I'd rather do. I'd rather be doing that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go, it's like when you look back at the PT programs from like back in the 50s and early 60s.
Yeah, Blue Team and stuff like that.
It was like ridiculously hard. And then, like, again, because girls couldn't do it, it's like, if my child can't do it, we have to take it away.
Yep.
That's the rule. Like, so they would get a bunch of handicapped kids and a bunch of girls that can't do it. So all the moms are like, no, we can't do that. That's too violent, or it's too
sexist,
too extreme.
You get a commercial.
I see it. Okay.
But yeah, so again, this is the stuff that, why Douglas Murray is right for the wrong reasons and why Dave Smith is wrong for the right reasons.
Because, don't get us wrong. We hate the appeal to authority. But sometimes the authority can be right. But that's the problem, is sometimes the authority is not only wrong, they're dead wrong.
Yeah, or they don't actually have your... Again, it's like assuming the experts and the authority figures have your best interest at heart. I mean, it's like, do you think Bill Gates actually has your best interest at heart? I mean, Bill Gates is not a scientist. He's a business owner, but he's masquerading as a scientist, pushing vaccines and whatnot. So,
what's this one that you sent me? You sent me this
one.
Oh,
it's
right
just
here.
You've seen it before. It's just more of the Islamic terrorist stuff. I mean, just check it out. I mean, you can play it real quick.
Bark like a dog. Go ahead. They're making Christians crawl and bark like dogs.
Religion of peace.
As they beat them and shoot them.
Simply for being Christians in Syria. Go ahead, Palestinian Brigade. Talk about what's going on, Christians. Because you don't like killing of innocent people, right?
Yep.
You don't like genocide, right? But they won't say shit.
Nothing.
Because they only condemn what Israel does to other people. They don't talk about what's going on in Yemen. They don't talk about what's going on in Syria. They don't talk about what's going on in Lebanon.
I'll mute it.
People put the blinders when it comes on Israel. It's like, look, again, I'm no huge fan of the nation of Israel. If it was up to me, I'd be like, look, Israel, you guys can, as Ben Shapiro once said, Israel can take care of itself. Cool. Then you don't need our funds, you don't need our money, you don't need our financial support or our political support. Cool. You guys got it. Do what you got to do. But at the same time, you have to understand that when you have genocidal Islamic terrorists living all around you, surrounded by all sides, like, you have to take every threat as if it's a real one. And you have to respond in kind. So, again, what fantasy world are we living in where it's just like, it's the way I describe it, it's the timeout method. It's like the little brother syndrome. The little brother comes in and starts hitting on the big brother, and the big brother finally gets hit so many times, he's like, okay, that one actually hurt because my arm's raw. And then so he comes back and goes, okay, now you're getting the full force of Big Brother, and all of a sudden he goes, time out, can't do that. You can't hurt me anymore. No. I called time out. And it's like, nope, you called down the thunder.
now get ready for the boom.
Yeah. That's what this is. And again, at what point is Israel not allowed to achieve its military objectives and the military goals? So again, it's very strange how just people go, well, Israel's blockading them and Israel's not letting stuff in. It's like, okay, again, well, that's what happens when Hamas is your governing body, and they find whatever materials are being imported, and they go, oh, this stuff can be used to make bombs. We're taking all of it. Yeah. This stuff can be used to make missiles. We're taking this stuff. I mean, it's an authoritarian dictatorship there, guys. It's just run by a...
Yeah, exactly. It's the and that was one of the other big topics that we didn't really get touched on was the blockade. It's like, like Douglas Murray, I think he owned him on that. He's like, yeah, it's like they said that their economy's worse than our Great Depression during the time. He goes, then Douglas Murray's like, yeah, but you know why those blockades are there, right? And he's just like, he kind of gets quiet. He's like, because they're trying not to get rockets to come in. And he's like, well, their economy is like, if you're going to shoot rockets at us, you don't get to have the world's best economy. Mm-hmm. We're going to blockade you, and anytime that we find weapons or anything that they're going to use against you, we're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb because you've proven you're not trustworthy.
Yeah.
Especially when your government explicitly says in their charter, we want the destruction of your people.
Yeah.
The complete annihilation of your people.
This is the whole liberal ideology where it's like, oh, they just need jobs. They just need jobs. They clearly don't just need jobs. They actually have a goal, and their goal is the eradication of the Jewish people. I mean, again, it will be the Christians next. Don't get me wrong. But they have a stated goal, and the goal is at least do the service of your enemies to believe it when they tell you they want to kill you and they want to destroy you. Believe them when they tell you that. Mm-hmm. It's like, we want to kill you. It's like, okay, no, you're just being silly. You just need jobs and a better economy, and things will just be better for you. It's like, no, that might not actually be the case.
And then here's this next one, which I think is great. I sent this one. Can you see it? It says, if you can pick out the Democrat, and it's a Ku Klux Klan member, an anti-fascist, and a Palestinian protester. It says, choose the Democrat, and it's like, all three are Democrats.
They're all three Democrats. That's true. And again, that's not technically true. I mean, like I said, the Palestinians aren't really Democrats. I mean, they're they're authoritarians, but they'll use, again, this is what happens when you have evil dictator, evil Islamic ideology. They're going to use your tolerance against you. Exactly. They're going to use your democracy against you. They're going to use your free speech against you. They're going to say, you can't criticize us, but we can criticize your country. Yeah. If you criticize us, that's racism. If we criticize you, that's free speech.
If you have an evil people trying to invade your nation, of course they're going to be like, we're going to be pro the people who want complete unfettered mass immigration. Mm-hmm. So that's that one. And then this is what we're talking about, why people have lost faith in the experts, is this right here. And this is completely true with COVID, everything else. Like I said, the expert class has lost all of their credibility. And this is why people like Dave Smith are becoming increasingly popular, and all these other conspiracy theorists. But check this out.
Just hold on to your because this is going to blow your mind.
Here's what scientists have found. Over 20 years, the percentage of seniors getting flu shots increased sharply from 15% to 65%.
Wow, so then the seniors who are dying from flu should go way down, right?
It stands to reason that flu deaths among the elderly should have taken a dramatic dip, making an X graph like this. Instead, flu deaths among the elderly continue to climb.
Whoa!
It was hard to believe, so researchers at the National Institutes of Health set out...
Hard to believe! So then researchers at the corrupt National Institute of Health, NIH, did a study, which they then suppressed and buried. But CBS got their hands on it. And here's what they found.
To do a study adjusting for all kinds of factors that could be masking the true benefits of the shots. But no matter how they crunched the numbers, they got the same disappointing result. Flu shots have not reduced deaths among the elderly.
We've looked at other countries now, and the same is true.
That study, soon to be published, finds the same poor results in Australia, France, Canada, and the UK. And other new research stokes the idea that decades of promoting flu shots in seniors and the billions spent haven't had the desired result. The current head of national immunizations confirms CDC is now looking at new strategies, but stops short of calling the present policy a failure.
There's an active dialogue into how we can do better to prevent influenza and its complications in the elderly.
So what's an older person to do? The CDC says they should still get their flu shots.
You should still get it. The CDC says you should still get your flu shot.
Yeah. Hey, still take your fentanyl. Don't stop your fentanyl just because, even though we're looking into it.
And if you can, you should combine it with your new booster for COVID, if you can.
Yeah.
That it could make flu less severe or prevent other problems not reflected in the total numbers. But watch for CDC to likely shift in the near future more toward protecting the elderly in a roundabout way by vaccinating more children and others around them who could give them the flu.
So they're doing that. So they were saying that back in 2006.
Oh, that's enough of that. But
trust the science. Trust the experts.
Flu shot literally has about the exact same amount of, effectiveness as the COVID vaccine, which is to say none at all. You are more likely to not get any type of disease if you had got it, and you'll be fine. Like I said, that's why I never got a flu shot as a kid, because I got the flu as a kid, and I've never had it since.
Yeah, it's almost like natural immunity's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like, go playing in some dirt and rubbing some dirt on it and getting out there amongst germs builds up your immune system.
Mm-hmm. But, the only reason that we even wanted to show that was to show why the expert class and the appeal to authority folks have no leg to stand on anymore. There's a reason why Dave Smith can be like, well, the expert class didn't do so well.
Well, again, too, think about this as well. It's like they have, again, this is why trust the science and trust the experts. What if there's a monetary benefit for these companies like Pfizer and to make sure that their stuff is right and works? And all of a sudden it's like, hey, it's not working the way we thought it would, but we still have this $1 billion government contract we don't want to lose, so we'll just we'll bury the evidence, we'll bury the death and the mortality rate and just say, no, the vaccines work, and guess what? You have to get them. Again, everybody in the military is required to get a flu shot every year. It's freaking stupid. I've never had a flu shot until I joined the military.
Mm.
It's dumb. It's very dumb. And here we are, just every year, however many hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of soldiers have to get this flu shot just to stay readiness, just to be for their readiness status to be good to go. It's like you can't deploy unless you get this shot. Like if I'm going overseas and going someplace that where I might get malaria or something, look, I get it. But doing readiness training here, where it's like, oh, it's flu season, get your flu shot, soldier.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Just let me get the flu. I'll be sick for a week. Big deal.
Yep. But that's what we're talking about is they have no leg to stand on. The expert class has no leg to stand on. And this is why, he's like, you need to have more people on. If Douglas Murray had said, you don't need to have more experts on. If Douglas Murray said, you need to have some counterpoint people on here when one of your guests talks about the Jews.
Yeah. I
talks about, you need to bring on some sort of Israeli. He brings on military guys all the time. What if he brought some IDF soldiers in?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
But again, this is one of those things where it's like you have supposed experts like Douglas Murray basically holding Joe hostage going, you have to do this. And it's like, Joe, the reason Joe is successful and popular is because he does what he wants to do.
Yeah.
This is a guest I want to have.
He is the king of conspiracies.
And again,
he brings on all the conspiracy theory guys.
He has totally done right by the vast majority of people. When somebody came on and got it wrong, a perfect example, whenever Tim Pool took off, and we actually subscribed to him, he had on Jack Dorsey and Vijaya Gade, who were the owners of Twitter at the time, and he brought them on, and Tim Pool goes, your rules are biased against conservatives. If you conservatives don't believe in that misgendering people is hate speech, you and your policies do. And they go, well, that's just our opinion. He goes, and that's why you are so blinded to your own side and your own bubble that you can't see your rules are alienating half of the population.
Yep.
They didn't care. And it's like all of a sudden Tim Pool comes on and goes, wow, nobody likes Jack Dorsey anymore. Everyone saw Vijaya Gade for the fraud she was.
Yep.
And same with the Wes Huff, Billy Carson thing. It's like he had on Billy Carson. Billy Carson spouted a bunch of nonsense about Christianity. Wes Huff debated him outside of the Joe Rogan podcast, destroyed Billy Carson, and then Wes Huff was brought onto the Joe Rogan podcast to expose Billy Carson's lies to a bigger audience with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's not opposed to being wrong.
Yeah.
And that's why people like Joe. They're like, he'll bring other people on and have the counterpoint, especially if he finds out somebody he brought on was wrong or dead wrong, or there's a bigger contrasting of ideas or conflict of ideas.
Exactly.
So let's not pretend Joe Rogan is this evil, oh yes, Israel, and that's the problem. People like Douglas Murray come on and go, they all just hate the Jews. It's like that's not the case at all.
Exactly. He said both parties had things that they're wrong. And Douglas Murray's was, you're not allowed to talk about this if you haven't been there, or you need to have more experts on. That was his flaw. And then Dave Smith's flaw is he completely ignores the actual on-the-ground facts, which is why he's like, you should probably visit these places, which that's why he's not wrong. He's like, you should probably visit these places before you just start spouting off a bunch of nonsense, Dave Smith. And just like, yeah, because as we just said, if you saw those videos and stuff that we just showed of those kids being propagandized from the ages as young as like 5 or 6 to hate Israel and, destroy Israel, like, there is no saving these people. There's a reason why we've even shown videos where they have Egyptian, like, what are they called? The Egyptian, like, care package vehicles coming in. And those kids are there throwing rocks at them. Those are coming in like, those aren't Jewish people. In fact, those are probably other Islamic folks.
They're Muslims who are not Palestinians trying to bring aid into Palestine. And again, it's like they wonder why they lose any grace or help. It's like, nobody, like, the reason Egypt doesn't want to take them is because, dude, screw these little Palestinian kids. They throw rocks at our cars. They hate us. Same goes for Jordan. It's like, we don't want these people over here. They suck.
Yeah, exactly. It's like our buddy who went to Afghanistan. He was straight up like, I was the most idealistic dude out there. I was giving candy to the kids.
Yes.
And by the end of it, I was like shooting the ground near those kids. I was like, get the hell away from me.
Yeah. Again, like, you go there wide-eyed, doughy-eyed, and you go, I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to be a good person. And
like,
you see the reality. Yeah, they hate your guts. They will lie to you. They'll take the food from you, and then after you hand them some food, they'll start throwing rocks at you because it wasn't the food that they wanted. They didn't have the M&Ms in there, or they didn't have the Skittles or something. It's like, now it's your fault for giving me the thing that I did not. I thought you were going to give me a good treat or a good food, Like, you gave me crap.
Yeah, beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, so again, folks, like, there's the reality. Again, my best friend who went over there, like, again, doughy-eyed, and he was optimistic. He goes, I'm going to make a difference out here and change the world. And then the world got to him, and he was like, wow, this place sucks, and the people here are horrible. And again, he was at the point where he was taking pot shots at the ground, making kids go away from him.
He wasn't really. He just saying, that's basically what I wanted to do.
Again, it's like, you can't trust them, because the next thing you know, they could be throwing a rock, and that rock could turn into a grenade real quick. So don't live in the delusion that, everybody just wants loves and economic factors are the sole contributing factor to terrorism. They're not. Ideology is.
Yep. But that's really all we've got for today.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's complicated. And again, there's a lot of things that could be going on in Israel too. Like, I mean, I've seen plenty of videos from Israel where, like, there are Christians going there to convert Jews, and you have Jewish kids throwing rocks and spitting on Christians,
Yeah.
Because these are the children of the Pharisees and the Sadducees.
But again, at least they're not freaking shooting them or trying to kill them and all that, like wishing for their complete and utter destruction.
Yeah. Either way, it's absolutely crazy. It's scary, but, it is what it is. And, we're not going to solve their problems overnight. That's why I thought Trump's idea to we'll just take Gaza. It'll be Trump Gaza.
Gaza.
Just let America take it over. But yeah, so that's about all we got for you today. This is the Twins with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. But that's all we've got for you today. God bless you.
And I'm playing this out with Trump at the UFC thing, which was blowing up over this weekend. So God bless you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
CPR, stem cells, AKs, watch. Treatment,